My sister rose in court and shouted, "She is nothing but a homeless veteran." The insult ricocheted across the marble walls. I stayed seated, hands folded over my dress uniform, while every face turned toward me. Then I stood, walked to the judge, and placed one certified page on his bench. He read it twice. His expression hardened. "Lock the doors," he ordered. "No one leaves." 3 months earlier, I had returned to Brighton after 22 years of service. Rain blurred the taxi windows until my grandfather's house appeared behind iron gates. The porch lamp still flickered. The cedar tree still leaned toward the roof. Everything looked familiar, except the keypad and the red "for sale" sign. I pressed the intercom. My younger sister, Mallory, answered. "You cannot be here, Evelyn." "I came to see Mom. She does not want you here." The gate remained closed. 10 minutes later, a patrol car arrived. Mallory handed the officers a deed naming her and our father, Grant Holloway, as owners. The younger officer apologized and told me to leave. The older one noticed my rank, Colonel, and looked embarrassed, but the document appeared valid. That night I slept in my rented car beneath a dead streetlight. Before dawn, I remembered my grandfather's final warning. Every lie leaves a fingerprint. I called Naomi Pierce, my college roommate and now an estate attorney. We met in a diner where she showed me the property listing. The seller's authorization carried my name and a signature I had never written. "The notary lost his license last year," Naomi said, "and Mallory's husband, Derek Vance, manages the company buying the house." My father had approved 3 payments connected to the sale. Betrayal stopped feeling like grief. It became evidence. In my apartment, I opened boxes that had followed me through 4 postings. Beneath medals and letters, I found a hard drive labeled Family Archive in my grandfather's handwriting. On it was his original will, witnessed and dated, leaving the house to me. There was also a video recorded 2 weeks before his death. "If anyone changes this," he said into the camera, "check the deed registry. Evelyn owns the property through the family trust." Naomi brought in Marcus Reed, a former military cyber investigator. He traced Raven House holdings through shell invoices, false repairs, and transfers authorized by Derek and my father. Mallory had submitted my expired military identification to support the forged sale. Then an unknown number texted me. "We have your psychiatric records. Walk away." They had found therapy notes from after my last deployment and planned to portray me as unstable. I saved the threat, forwarded it to Naomi, and kept working. The hearing began on a gray Monday. Mallory sat beside Derek in pearls, smiling as though the house already belonged to them. Their lawyer described me as traumatized, confused, and obsessed with a promise that never existed. Then Mallory lost control. "She is just a homeless veteran," she screamed. The judge called for order. I asked permission to approach and gave him the certified trust deed, stamped by the state registry and accompanied by a federal identity verification report. That was when he locked the courtroom. The page proved the house had never legally entered my grandfather's personal estate. It belonged to a trust naming me as sole beneficiary. Any sale required my physical signature before 2 registered witnesses. The forged deed contained a copied signature, a suspended notary's seal, and an identification number tied to my military file. Naomi submitted the threatening message. Marcus submitted the transaction trail. Derek went pale. Mallory began crying. My father stared at the floor. During the recess, he leaned toward me. "Family should protect family." "Family should not steal from family," I said. When the judge returned, investigators entered through the side door. Derek was arrested for fraud and money laundering. Mallory was charged with forgery, identity theft, and obstruction. My father was charged as the organizer. My mother, seated behind them, covered her mouth. Outside the courtroom, she reached for me. "I did not know," she whispered. "You knew enough not to ask," I replied. The court restored the trust, voided the sale, and awarded me the house. Weeks later, my family accepted plea agreements that included prison restitution and permanent surrender of any claim against the property. I visited the house alone before deciding what to do. My grandmother's hydrangeas still pushed through the neglected soil. The room smelled of cedar, dust, and rain. I could have moved in. Instead, I transferred the property to Harbor Home, a nonprofit that housed women veterans and their children. My grandfather had wanted the house to protect me. I chose to let it protect others. At the dedication, a brass plaque beside the door read, "Truth leaves a home behind." People still ask whether I regret exposing my family. I do not. Silence would have preserved their comfort by destroying my name. Mallory called me homeless. She was wrong. Home was never the gate that shut me out. Home was the truth I carried through it.